there.
How you doing?
Oh, hi. I'm Georgia Miller. What's your name?
Dr. M. Nice to meet you, Georgia Miller.
Likewise.
All right. To ask you a couple questions to start. I'm gonna ask you a couple identification questions. Is that all right? All right.
Sure.
So, how old are you?
31.
You're 31.
Mhm.
What race are you?
White.
White. All right. And what's your sex?
Like I'm a female? I'm a female.
Gotcha.
Last time I checked.
All right. All right. And what's your sexual orientation?
I am very straight.
Very straight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are you married by any chance? Are you marital status?
I am
Divorced?
engaged.
Engaged. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Who was it already?
It's nice.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Mhm.
All right. Are you currently working? What's your employment status looking like right now?
I'm an assistant at the mayor's office at the town where I
Gotcha.
live.
So you are working.
Mhm.
You're assistant at the mayor's town.
Mm-hmm. The mayor's my fiance.
Oh, okay. Make sure to write that down. Fiance. All right. So, why are you here today? What brings you in?
Well, my daughter seems to think that I'm not a good mother.
Okay. So.
She called me a monster. Can
a
you believe it?
monster.
Can you
Can't
believe it? She thinks I'm a monster because I did some bad things in order to protect us. Or at least she thinks they're bad things.
In order to protect you. Can you elaborate on that?
Well,
Just to let you know, anything you say in this room is protected by patient confidentiality. Anything you say, as long as you don't pose a threat to yourself, to me, or to anyone else, I am legally obliged to keep it here. So you can say anything you say as long as you don't pose a threat. Just want you to keep that in mind.
you see, Mr. Therapist, I just met you. So can we just skip that until later?
Sure. Yeah, we can skip by it.
All right.
So, anything else on why you're here? Any other?
Well, like I was saying, my daughter, she doesn't appreciate the things that I do for her. And at the moment, she's not speaking to me for some reason. Well, I know the reason, but I just kept a few secrets from her. But anyways, she found out what I did, and she thinks that I'm a terrible person now.
I'm sorry to hear that. So, were you referred to me? Were you forced to be here? Did
My daughter really suggested me to go to
your daughter suggested you? Okay.
even though I don't believe in the therapy stuff, honestly.
Don't believe in therapy?
I do not believe in therapy.
Gotcha.
But I'm here for my daughter.
For your daughter? Do you love your daughter?
I do. I'll do anything for her. Literally.
So, would you say you have any quote unquote problems? Anything that would you come to therapy on your own? Is there anything that would bring you to therapy on your own?
Well, I guess I have done some things that I'm not sure if I regret them. But according to my daughter, I have always had problems, and she thinks I avoid my problems and always run away when something bad happens. We always move from different states, except for right now. We're in Massachusetts, and I really like it there. She really likes it there. So I'm trying to be a stable parent.
So, would you? That's a good thing to hear. I'm glad to hear that. But would you agree with your daughter that you always avoid problems, or would you say
No.
it's the opposite? Say it's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any idea as to why she would ask or suggest that you run away from your problems?
Or probably because we moved to about 5 different states every single time. If you want to know the details, I was born in Alabama, and then we moved to Virginia. That's when I had her. And then Louisiana, and then Texas, and then a different city in Texas, and then right now, Massachusetts.
So, a lot of moving.
Mm-hmm. I like a fresh start.
First start. If you mind me asking, a fresh start from what? Like, was there anything going on in your life that required you to feel like you needed a fresh start?
Yeah, I had to keep my children and my family safe.
That's a good reason. Alright. So, you keep saying that you want to keep your family safe, or family safe. Is there anything specific you want to keep them safe from?
I would want them to grow up in a safe environment.
Is there anything that makes the past places unsafe? Anything that deems them unsafe?
Oh yeah, a lot of things.
Can you list a couple of them by any chance? Do you have any idea?
Well, now this is a part where it gets kind of illegal.
I cannot say anything as long as you do not pose a threat to anyone. If you think it's going to help me understand you, go for it.
All right, then I guess I'll start off. I was pregnant at 15 years old. I had my daughter, and I ran away from my family because it was a toxic household.
If you don't mind me asking, in what way?
We just grew up very poor. My mom did drugs. Father not present. So, first man I fell in love with, well, not man, kid, 15 years old, I ran away, got pregnant. That's when I moved to Virginia. That's where I had my daughter, Ginny.
Jen.
And that's when I became a waitress. And I somehow ended up running an underground poker games, and later on, a little bit of money laundering.
So, a little bit of crime.
Mm-hmm.
So, you did mention that your mom did drugs and that your father was not present. Do you have any strong feelings about that?
Nah, I just ran away from them. And I don't have a relationship with them.
No relationship
It's
at all?
just me and my 2 daughters and my fiance.
So have you tried contacting and talk to them at all?
No.
No?
No need.
Not need?
No.
You did say you did ran underground poker games. Was it purely for money or?
I was in need. But I did eventually get busted. So at the time, my daughter was only about 2 years old. So she was taken away to social services. And at the time, I agreed to marry this man, creepy landlord guy. So it could look like I was irresponsible, but I could get my daughter back.
So you married this man just to essentially put a facade on
Mm-hmm.
to get your daughter back?
Mm-hmm.
So would you say one of your priorities in life is your daughter?
Oh,
Like,
of course.
would you say she's your main priority, like your biggest priority?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna move on for now, and we'll come back to a couple questions that I have about that. So, you would you say that you're safe now? Would you consider you said Massachusetts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider where you live right now in Massachusetts safe?
Yes.
Yes. And would you consider every other place you were before unsafe?
Yes.
And so you say you plan so you plan to move. So let's say something were to happen in Massachusetts, would you move again? Something that deemed it unsafe?
That's not my plan this time.
Okay, but
which
you
is
have.
why I'm here.
What was your plans before? Okay. Okay. So have you had any suicidal thoughts before, by any chance?
No.
Have you had any homicidal thoughts before? You did say that safety was a big priority,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't grow up in the best environments. You grew up in some hostile environments. So would you say you had any homicidal thoughts before?
So you see, that's when we go back to the surname Anthony. Green, the creepy landlord guy that I
The landlord?
mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, you were married to him, right?
Yeah, I was living with him for a little bit, but he became controlling and abusive and threatened me to report me to social services, and obviously that would get my daughter taken away. So in order to provide safety for the both of us, I spiked his drink with sleepy pills. And he
Did he-
accidentally choked in his sleep.
So he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
But I think he deserved it for trying to take my daughter away.
you think he deserved that?
Mm-hmm.
So you would say he's a bad man?
Oh, of course.
Now, do you think in this relationship, in this specific relationship, do you think you had any faults during the relationship, or was it all completely his fault?
No, it's all his fault. I mean, who would want to take my daughter away? Who would want to ruin a mother-daughter relationship?
Oh, I see. All right, so do you plan on harming anyone else at this current moment?
No.
Would you plan to do it again? For say your daughter's safety was in danger in some sort?
Of course. Self-defense.
But you don't plan on anything right now. It was just in case if your daughter was in danger.
Correct.
Is there anything else you would do? Is there anything to avoid? But you wouldn't go to the extremities instantly, right? Is there steps that you would take before, like in order to prevent the danger before having to take such an extreme step?
I don't understand.
We'll skip. We'll pass on to that question. So, have you been to therapy before?
No.
This is your first time going to therapy?
Mm-hmm.
So no psychiatric treatment. Just this is your first time. No psychiatric. No first time talking to therapist. Gotcha. Have you considered going to therapy before? You didn't consider going now, right? It's more of your daughter's suggestion. Gotcha.
I just think you're taking my money.
I got you. All right. So you said that you grew up in a bad household,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mother did drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Was she abusive in any way?
Verbally abusive, yeah, sure.
Verbally?
I can say that.
Would you say that she neglected you?
Yeah.
And father was not present at all, right?
Nah.
Gotcha. So, have you had any life-threatening events? Any sort of danger? You did say that you ran an underground poker club.
Yeah,
For
it's
money, for
I
that
was
money.
very poor, and I needed to provide money for me and my daughter to eat.
So you would go to the extreme lengths to protect your daughter, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
How about for yourself? Would you go to the, let's say we eliminate your daughter from the conversation, would you do the same thing for yourself?
Probably.
Okay. And did this crime section of your life, did it put you in any immediate danger? Would you say it put you in any immediate danger? Were you scared of doing what you were doing? Do you think it was absolutely necessary?
Well, the second boyfriend I had was the father of my son. How do I put this? He became abusive, very violent, and I didn't want to be pregnant at the time with him, so he was working as I believe an accountant or something for a company. Anyways, I framed him for embezzlement because I wanted to get him out of the picture.
Would you say it was would you say in this case, would you say it was more for your safety, for your mentality, your mental health, or more for the safety of your children?
Both. I didn't want to be living with him, and I didn't want my children to be, I didn't want them to grow up seeing him be violent.
What do you think your children think of you, by any chance?
Well, I know my daughter hates me right now. She's not speaking to me at the moment.
How about before this event? What would you say your relationship with her was?
Oh, we were very close. Best friends. Best buds.
You said you had a son?
Yes.
Can you talk more about him? We haven't talked about him that much.
Well, he's a little smaller, so he doesn't really.
What age?
He's about 5, 6.
All right. And have you had any sexual trauma? Anything you would disclose?
That's irrelevant to this.
But you would say do you have any sort of trauma from your childhood? Your little crime stage? No sort of trauma, do you think?
No, not trauma of my own, I guess.
Of your own? Would you say other people involved have some sort of trauma as well?
Well, that's when we go back to my daughter's safety. But then we'd be going back to the crime section. Unless you want to skip the crime section.
We'll come back to that in a little bit. All right, and so we talked about your past and a little bit of your mental health. How about your physical? Do you have any medical conditions? Any sort of history?
Not exactly. I guess sometimes I have a hard time sleeping at night.
Would you say to go as far as insomnia? Have you been diagnosed with that insomnia, or just a general hard time in sleeping?
No, I just have a hard time, but it's okay. Just smoke some weed, a couple glasses of wine, and we're good.
Do you exercise? Are you?
No.
Do you no, actually, no need?
I feel great.
Are you sexually active?
With my fiance? Hell yeah.
Gotcha. So you did say that you smoke some weed to fall asleep or drink some wine. Can we talk about your substance use? Is marijuana and alcohol the hardest drugs you've done? Any?
Yeah.
How often would you say that you smoke marijuana or take some form of marijuana?
4 or 5 times a week.
So would you say that's pretty often, or do you think it's
whatever I need to fall asleep?
All right, and alcohol, is wine the only type of alcohol you consume?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say your average intake is? How often?
Every 1 or 2 days.
1 or 2 days. So would you say some weeks it's daily?
For some days, for dinner, yeah.
So would you say it's more is it more to accompany your dinner, or is it just for you to enjoy it?
Both.
Do you think would you be able to function properly if you had to go a month without wine?
I guess it could happen.
You would be alright? Okay. How about marijuana?
So you just don't want me to sleep?
I see. Have you thought about seeing some sort of a doctor for your insomnia? Or what could be insomnia? So do you think what you're doing is the best possible way to go about it? In a non-criticizing way?
Sure.
If your doctor recommended other things that involved you separating from marijuana or alcohol, would you take his advice, or would you keep doing with your own advice?
Depends on the cost.
Okay. And you said that those are the hardest type of substances you've used? No history of never anything hard or anything? Okay.
Nope.
And all right. So how would you say your relationship with your family is right now? How about let's start with your daughter. Right now, you would say it's not good,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you would say that before you were best friends,
Yes.
really close. How about with your son?
Oh, he's a sweetheart.
Would you say you're close? Very
Of course,
close.
yeah.
Do you see him every day, right?
Of course.
He's at home. You said you work, and so does your fiance. You guys have some sort of babysitter, anyone to take care of?
Well, he goes to school.
He goes to school already? I got you. And how old is your daughter?
She's 15 right now.
15. So she would go to school as well, right?
Yeah.
How about your own social life aside of family? Did you say you have a lot of friends?
Not exactly.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, since we're always moving, I don't really have time to socialize. I do have, I guess we could call her a friend. Just my neighbor.
Your neighbor? Or did you say you're close with your neighbor? Do
I
you
mean, we drink wine together.
drink wine together? Do you like your neighbor?
Yeah.
Do you think she likes you?
I hope so.
All right. And how about with your fiance? How's your relationship with your fiance?
Oh, it's amazing. We're planning our wedding, and it's gonna be this grand, luxurious wedding. It's gonna be amazing. Do you want an invitation?
I am unfortunately I can't attend. But I do appreciate
You're
the
gonna miss it.
invitation. Would you say you're religious?
No.
No.
What for?
So you did say that you grew up in a rough household and you don't have any contact with your parents, any sort of relationship. Did you attend school when you were younger?
Mhm.
You,
But I dropped out
of
when
high school?
I was pregnant. Mhm.
Gotcha. 15, right? Right away. All right. Would you say you're a disciplined person? Do you think you have control? And do you feel like you have control over your actions?
Yes.
Yes. Right. And you wouldn't say you have any sort of substance problems, right? You'd say it's fairly controlled.
Mhm.
Right. How's your job going? You're the assistant in the mayor's office. How would you say that's going?
Amazing.
Amazing. Would you say it's a hard job?
No, not necessarily.
Would you say you're good at your job?
Oh yeah, can you believe for Christmas the mayor tried to give the whole town a can of peas? Like, who
Like-
wants a can of peas?
Each person the canopies.
Yeah, each family. Who wants peas? So I suggested him to, give away things that are more like necessities. I told him to give away toothbrushes, deodorants, pads, tampons,
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. So you did say you were busted for your underground. Did you and you got your social services took your kid away, your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you in jail, or did you face jail time?
Not very long, just about a couple weeks.
Weeks. Is that to the extent of your legal troubles? Is that have you, aside from the being busted for your poker, your crime part of your life, have you had any other legal issues?
No.
No, you say that. You said
Sure, we could say that.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, we'll go back on how my daughter's not speaking to me and she's not grateful for things I've done, but she found out about my first husband. So she was upset about that. And then she was also upset when she found out about my second marriage, because my ex-husband passed away also.
would you say your action? Do you expect your daughter to eventually understand your actions for framing the man? And
Of course, I did it for her, for us, for our family.
what would you say she's ungrateful, or what would you describe her as?
Yeah,
right now.
I'm grateful.
Do you? So she has harsh feelings towards you right now. Would you say you have any harsh feelings towards her?
Yeah, I guess, because she's not being understanding that I did all these things for her and for her safety and for us.
Was it all for her safety? Did you include yourself in the picture, or did you only think about her
Well, yeah.
safety? I gotcha. All right. So you had 2 marriages before, both, or sorry, 1 marriage.
2.
2 marriages, both ended.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first marriage I was only 17. I wanted to get health insurance.
I got you. For health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say you love this man?
No, God no.
How about for your second? You said it was for your daughter, right?
Thought I loved him, yeah.
You thought you loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And you said this man was abusive.
Oh no, that was the boyfriend.
Your first
I had.
one, yeah, gotcha. Your boyfriend. So, what's your opinion on your?
Austin's son, the one that was abusive.
I gotcha. Austin's father.
Mm-hmm.
Austin is your son, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's your daughter's name?
Virginia, but I call her Jenny.
All right. And what was your opinion on your second husband?
He was an asshole, pervert. Tried touching my daughter.
I see. All right. And would you say you have a good relationship with most people in your life?
Well, my circle's pretty small.
Small circle. Would you say that your past events, such as your past marriages and history of abuse, do you think they have some sort of effect on you having a small circle? Would you personally say?
Yes.
Would you say you have problems trusting people?
Oh, of course.
And this causes you to keep your circle smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, are you aware of, aside from your mother's drug history and your father being absent in your life, were you aware of any mental history issues in your family?
No.
No. To your knowledge, right?
Yes.
But your mother did abuse drugs. Was it
Yes.
harder drugs?
I don't remember. I was too small.
How old were you?
5. From 5 to like 10.
5 to 10. All right. So you would say you have a small circle. Do you interact with a lot of people on the daily for your job?
Somewhat a small town.
Would you describe yourself as sociable?
Oh, very.
Very social. So you like talking to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have a hard time trusting and confiding in people.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Do you know if your mother drank or used drugs while you were pregnant? Do you have any while they were pregnant with you? Any recollection?
I have no idea.
Did your mother abuse drugs for as long as you remember, or did
As long as I remember.
Did you ever know your father?
No. She always had different boyfriends.
To your knowledge, did you have any late development? Were you a late talker, late walker, any sort of deal?
Not that I know of.
And you did attend school, but you dropped out, right?
Yes.
Do you know what grade this was? You were 15? So in high school, right?
Sophomore year.
Sophomore year. All right, so you don't have any, never attended college, no diploma, right?
No.
Just all education stopped from high school, right? Gotcha. So you say you're assistant at the mayor's office. Was the mayor your fiance before you started working there, or did it happen after you started working?
No, it happened after.
After, gotcha. Okay, so I do want to go back a little bit to the crime section of your life. So you did say that you ran a underground poker ring,
Mm-hmm.
and you were busted. You went to jail for a couple weeks, right?
Yes.
Do you have any opinions on that? Any strong opinions or?
Well, I got the money I needed, so I was
Do
able
you-
to afford rent, bills, food.
Do you think the time you served was justified, or do you think it was unjustified?
I mean, I guess it was wrong, but really it was my husband's fault at the time.
What was your husband's fault?
Well, yeah, he was no help.
I understand. All right. Have you faced any consequences from this charge from a couple weeks? Like, any?
Well, besides my daughter being taken away, but I got her back after that.
So after getting your daughter back, so that was the biggest consequence from that. Have you faced any other problems, or has it all been smooth?
And that stayed, I guess, when we moved after that.
Does your current job know of your past?
No.
No. Do other states aside from the state you were charged in know about what you did from the poker?
Yes.
But your current job does not, right?
Correct.
All right, and let's go back about framing your first husband. Was it your first husband or your boyfriend as you framed?
Well, that was my boyfriend. That
Your
was
boyfriend.
my son's father.
All right, is he still in jail? What would you frame him for?
He's still in jail for embezzlement. I took one of his checks and signed a whole bunch of money off. But I signed it to my account.
To your account, so you transferred the money.
Mhm.
Gotcha. He's for embezzlement?
Yes.
And any investigation into that situation, or?
Yeah, we moved states.
Gotcha. Would you say that was one of the reasons for you moving states?
Of course. I didn't want to be near him, and I didn't want to know when he got out of jail or any of that.
Gotcha. And then for your second husband, you said you
Kenny.
Kenny is his name. You said he's no longer with us.
No.
Correct. Is there any investigation into his death? Was there?
Well, he died from a heart attack driving. His family thinks I killed him because they think I was only with him for his money, which is not true. I actually loved him.
So you said he died from a heart attack, but you also said he died in his.
Also, he had a heart attack while driving.
Gotcha. And your first husband no longer with us as well, right?
Correct.
And you had a direct part in his death from this man, right? For your first husband?
What do you mean?
Well, has there been any investigation into the cause of his death?
Technically, he's missing still.
Missing, I got you.
Missing person.
And you moved states after this incident? Alright. So you did mention that your second husband tried to touch your daughter,
Yes.
and now that he's no longer with us, you said he had a heart attack while driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do want to elaborate a little more on that. I felt like I skipped on that earlier, so I do want to elaborate a little more on that.
Well, I would say it was a shame, but I guess he deserved it.
Do you think him dying of a heart? So he died with a heart attack while driving, right? How old was he?
Oh gosh, he was young. He was 30.
Did he have any previous history of heart disease? Anything that would cause a heart attack?
Nope, nothing at all.
Okay. I'm not a detective here. I'm just.
I may have contributed a little bit to that, but
Can
like
you
I
elaborate
said,
on
he
that?
was a pervert.
Did it sound like a bad man trying to touch her?
Yeah, I
Daughter.
walked in on him trying to touch my daughter, so I grew this plant. I don't know if I want to say it, but anyways, I would put it in his smoothie every morning.
So would you say you poisoned this man that contributed to his heart attack?
Sure.
Do
Let's
you have
just say I
any-
didn't know he was allergic. Not my fault.
Gotcha. Do you think this? Do you have any strong feelings towards this event?
That he deserved it pretty much, sure. And I got pretty good use of his money that he left me. I used it to start a new life in Massachusetts.
Are you very happy with your new life?
Yes.
So would you say his death overall was a positive thing in your life?
Oh no, I was completely heartbroken too. Because I did love him.
Oh, I gotcha.
Can you imagine how hard it was for me to start a new life with 2 children, a single mother?
I see. So another question I wanted to ask you was, do you have any hobbies? Anything you particularly enjoy?
I like to drink wine.
So wine drinking? Right, do you enjoy your marijuana usage as well? Or do you think it's more necessary?
It relaxes me. It's a great hobby. I do like to, go shopping too with my daughter.
All right. And would you say that do you have extreme pride and joy in your family?
Of course.
All right. So I know we talked about a lot of bad things today. Well, would you say there's anything you're really, really excited about, really positive going for you?
Yeah, I'm excited for my marriage, my soon-to-be, marriage. I hope this one finally is the right one, and we get to stay here in Massachusetts. I want my daughter to have a good experience at school. I want her to finish school. Same thing with my son.
Alright.
So that's something I'm excited for.
It's good to hear. I'm excited for it as well. And, would you say, what makes you the most happy in your life?
I would say my family. Money, I guess.
Money as well.
Well, yeah, and I could provide a good life for them.
All right. And what do you think are your proudest achievements in life?
That I finally got them to a good house, good home, in a town that they actually like, and they have friends.
I gotcha. And everything you've done has been for them, right?
Correct.
So I know that you're not here of your own will, but what do you plan on getting from? Obviously, your daughter recommended you, and you came for your daughter, I'm assuming. Right. So what is your main goal from coming to therapy?
Well, I want to be able to understand what I did that was so bad that my daughter is so disappointed in me. I understand some of my actions were extreme, but I had reasoning behind every action.
So you don't fully understand why your daughter is mad at you, and you want me to help you understand that, right?
She says I don't understand how she feels, all the typical teenager stuff, but She wanted the truth, and I told her the truth, and now she thinks I'm a monster.
I gotcha. Do you personally think you're a monster? Would
No.
you be very opposed to that idea?
Yeah.
What would you describe yourself as?
I would describe myself as a protective mother.
Protective mother. Do you take pride in what you do for your daughter?
Yes.
All right. So, let's say you're in therapy for 6 months. Do you see your daughter and you's relationship healing in 6 months? How long do you expect for you to be in therapy to understand why your daughter would be mad at you?
Hopefully just today.
Hopefully just that. All right. So, what I'm hearing is your main goal is to fix your relationship with your daughter, right? And you said you'd hope it's only for today. Now, I would recommend the best course of action would actually be to have some sort of family group therapy. I think this would help communicate. This would help the communication between you and your daughter. You'd say she's ungrateful for your actions, and you would say she's mad at you. So I would recommend, for this situation, I would recommend to start off a family therapy session in order just to communicate a little more, and then from there we can explore other possibilities if you're interested.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you were hoping for only today, but I would recommend a family therapy session in order for you guys to understand each other more. Is that something you would be open to? It's completely fine if you are not.
If that's what it'll take for my daughter to talk to me, I guess.
All right, well, our time is up, and it was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope you'll get back to me on that family group session.